We'll start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavato Sahanau Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are going to do Panchadasi today, the 8th chapter. And we have already seen the summaries of the other 6th chapter and the other chapters before. So today our focus will be on the 8th chapter. And this chapter is a very beautiful chapter. It's titled Kutastha Deepa Prakaranam. As I told you last time, all the chapters beginning from the 6th chapter are ending with Deepa Prakaranam. The focus is on the consciousness principle in this body-mind complex. All of us, we come to study Vedanta because we want to know who we are. There is a general awareness about ourselves, and this awareness which we have confused it with the body and mind. Samanya Jnanam, everybody has. What is Samanya Jnanam? I am a jiva, I am in this body. So, the general awareness is there, and the general awareness is sakshi chaitanya. I don't know this truth, but I think I am the body and mind, and I start the journey. Samanya Jnanam, I am, is known to all of us. Vishesha Jnanam, what is this I? Is this I the body? Is this I the mind? Is this I the sense organs? Or is this I the Atma? The confusion is, who am I? So try to understand this. Very important, which Shankaracharya brings it out so beautifully. Very, very well, he brings this out in all the Upanishad Bhashyams. I hope this particular point is very clear. Samanya Jnanam, Vishesha Jnanam. Samanya Jnanam is I am an individual, jiva. I think I am this body. I think I am this sense organs which perceive the world. I think I am the breath principle, the prana, that is the life-giving factor. The panchakoshas, the 3 sharirams. I have punyam and papam, therefore I have a karana shariram. I keep on taking birth after birth. These are all things which we think. What Veda comes and tells me is, number 1, you are not the body, which is easy to understand. The second thing it says is, you are not the mind. Difficult to appreciate. You are not the sense organs. You are not the prana, pranamaya kosha. not manomaya kosha, not annamaya kosha, not the intellect which is the karta. I am the karta in this body. I am the doer of actions. All these notions in our mind are negated by the Veda. Who am I? I am the Kutastha Chaitanya. Kutastha means what? It is the Adhishtanam on which this entire universe, on which this body mind appears for some time and disappears for some time. Again, it appears, it disappears. So this chapter is a brilliant chapter, 76 verses, divided into 5 topics. The first topic is Kutastha and Chidabhasa. What is Sakshi? What is Vishesha Chaitanyam? Sakshi means general awareness, Samanya Chaitanyam. Vishesha Chaitanyam, reflected consciousness. What do you mean by identifying with the Chidabhasa, which brings in samsara? How does that happen? And how do I gain freedom? By identifying myself as this consciousness Chaitanyam principle. You see, this is a very, very great learning. What we are trying to understand is a very, very unique science. It is a skill. We have to learn to understand that I am the sakshi, I am the Chaitanya. The assumptions which we make is wrong. Veda comes and asks us to test those assumptions and then arrive at the conclusion. The second topic is from 4 to 6, and it says Sakshi is the illuminating light, the spiritual light, and it makes things known within the range of Chidabhasa. What do you mean by Chidabhasa? Sakshi is the light, spiritual light, it is eternal light. And this light gets reflected in the mind of a jiva. So whatever is the range of the mind with the body, it makes the things known to the jiva. That is what is the spiritual light meant for. And whatever is not beyond, whatever is beyond the mind and the body is unknown to me. That is described in the second topic. 17 to 26 is the third topic. And here, a very unique thing is said, Kevala Sakshi is the subject. Kevala Sakshi means what? Sakshi by itself, without the conditionings of body and mind. And this Sakshi is never experienced. See how beautifully Vidyaranya brings out this topic. We do lack viveka, which is discrimination, but we do not lack anubhava. Anubhava means experience. In the beginning of this talk, I said we all have a notion, I am. That I am is the consciousness, existence, infinite, eternal, spiritual light. All of us have it. But it is mixed up. This mixing up in Sanskrit is called as Sankaryanam. In the Mandukya Upanishad, there is a beautiful verse which Shankaracharya brings out this word sankarnyam. Sankarnyam means mixing up, adhyasa. So in that verse, he clearly says, in one verse, he refutes all the philosophers like Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika. In one verse, they refute Dvaitam as the reality. What is the reality? Advaitam. What is the reality? Consciousness. What is not the reality? Body, mind, world. This discrimination is received by us, attained by us when we study Upanishads and texts like Panchadasi. The fourth topic is Chidabhasa inquiry, which is the main theme of this chapter. And you will see that the biggest number of verses are in this section, 27th verse to 68th verse. And the last section is the conclusion. A very important topic in this whole chapter is Chidabhasa and Kutastha. Many times we have studied in Vedanta in different texts, in different Upanishads, in Bhagavad Gita, reflected consciousness and original consciousness. Who are we? We are original consciousness. Who we are not, the reflected consciousness which is experienced in the Jagrata Avastha and in the Swapna Avastha, where the individuality comes into play. That Jagrat and Swapna is called as Vyavaharika Satyam. And the original consciousness is called as Paramarthika Satyam. Vyavaharika Satyam is incidental. Paramarthika Satyam is Nitya Mukta status, ever free. And it is the intrinsic self. Identifying with the Chidabhasa, I have samsara. Identifying with the sakshi is claiming my Nitya Mukta Swarupa. For example, if you see that, suppose there is an original light and there is a reflected sunlight which is thrown in the hall because of some mirror. So a Vishesha Surya Prakasha is created inside the hall. The Samanya Surya Prakasha is the light which is outside. Vishesha Surya Prakasha is in the hall. So similarly, Bimba Chaitanyam is outside the body and also inside the body. When it is inside the body, it is called as Pratibimba Chaitanyam. The Pratibimba Chaitanyam is localized. That is why the individual is born. Suppose I don't identify with this limited, localized Vishesha Chaitanyam, then I would drop individuality, the Jivatvam, in my mind. I'm not dropping it outside. My body will still be there. The body will still undergo the experiences in the world. I will be connecting to the all-pervading Samanya Prakasha. In the wall, inside the room, both the Prakashas are there. One is the Samanya Prakasha, and then there is a Vishesha Prakasha, because there is a mirror which is throwing in the light which is of Samanya Prakasha, which is exactly our mind. Our mind acts like the mirror for the original consciousness to know the thoughts which occur in the mind. This is the basics of Vedanta. What does meditation do? Meditation takes us back to our source of Chaitanya, Samanya Chaitanya. In the wall, the brightness is coming because of the Vishesha Chaitanya. That means in this body, the mind which is throbbing with thoughts throughout the day, we think that that is the Jiva. This is the mistake which we all make. Very difficult to get out of this mistake. This one chart which I am presenting today in 10 minutes explains to you the whole Vedanta. It's a very beautiful chart. If you try to understand this chart and keep thinking about it, do vichara on this chart, reflected consciousness, original consciousness, I am the Atma Swarupaha, Kutastha. That Atma is called as Kutastha. Kutastha means what? It never changes. So the two options to know are Samanya Prakasha. We can go along with the Vishesha Prakasha or go along with the Samanya general Chaitanya. Whenever we are trying to identify ourselves, we should go with the Samanya generalized consciousness which has no location. It is not difficult. All of us can do it. But we must make an attempt to draw our attention to this consciousness. It is there. Only thing is we have not noticed it. So one method is to watch between the two thoughts. Who am I? In the meditation, in between two thoughts, there is a general awareness. What Vedanta says is you are the general awareness, without which there can be no world at all. So we have to learn to differentiate the Samanya Chaitanyam and the Vishesha Chaitanyam. And the thoughts are like the mirrors. They are responsible for the Vishesha Chaitanya. Whenever there is a thought of your son in your mind, or your daughter, or your parents, any thought, the object is what? Decided by the mind or the vasana, karana shariram. What object comes into your mind is because of either vasana or you are deliberately thinking of something, willful. But what? And that thought keeps on appearing and disappearing. It keeps on changing. Whatever is changing is savikaram. It is anatma. Whatever is changeless is nirvikaram. It is sakshi. These are all fundamental laws. If you have to apply these laws to understand that awareness, to understand that sakshi, the general awareness. You may think, what is this general awareness? How can this general awareness be so important in life, and how it is, such a small little thing, how it can have such a big impact of bondage and the freedom? But it is true. If you understand Vedanta, if you understand the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, this is exactly what is being revealed. So the differentiation of the Sakshi and Chidabhasa with reference to the external world, by distinctly knowing the functions of the Chidabhasa, that it only is an awareness principle for the mind in our antakaranam. Once we know this, then it becomes easy. So the light Sakshi Chaitanya makes things known and unknown. It illumines. For example, I don't know also is a illumination. I don't know Japanese language. I don't know Russian language. But who reveals this to us? It is Sakshi Chaitanya. Objects outside the body, all are illuminated by the Sakshi Chaitanya. We have seen this in Dakshinamurti Stotram and all that. We know exactly. So remember that. So objects fall outside the range of Chidabhasa. Objects are within the range of Chidabhasa. Whatever I don't know is outside the Chidabhasa. And these are all knowledges. In the sleep state, I don't know anything. That is also a knowledge. But that knowledge is revealed by Sakshi. See, step by step, try to understand this chapter. It's a very important chapter, beautiful chapter to understand our real self, because a lot of technical details are beautifully summarized by Swami Vidyaranya. What is the job of a Chidabhasa? The job of a Chidabhasa is to reveal an unknown object. It can be unknown outside or it can be unknown inside. To reveal. That is the job of the Chidabhasa. This unknownness is like a dark night. See, in a dark night, what happens? You are not able to know things. Ignorance is like the darkness which we experience. I don't know, like in sleep. I don't know. So what is that I don't know called? It is ignorance. It is an experience. So all of us in our daily sleep, we experience two things. One thing which we all are very much aware is, I don't know anything. What we don't know in the sleep state is, there is a sakshi, there is a spiritual light which is illuminating the knowledge I don't know. That is what is Panchadasi revealing. Okay? Illuminating and unknownness and knownness of the object do not belong to the object itself. For example, a chair cannot know itself. It has to be known by a sentient being with mind. I mean, these are all some technical aspects. I've put some drawings here to explain. It becomes very easy then. The chit is responsible for the known and unknownness of the objects. Chidabhasa illumines the object. Chidabhasa means what? Reflected consciousness in the mind. The knowingness, see, ultimately, who is the ultimate knower? The ultimate knower is Sakshi or Chit. So that finishes up to verse number 16, the second topic. The third topic is 17 to 26. Experience of Chidabhasa and experience of Sakshi. That is the topic which is discussed. And Chidabhasa experience is very common. When thoughts are there in the mind, it gives us knowledge of some specific objects or events in our mind. When Chidabhasa is dormant, Sakshi is there. This fact we should know. When my mind is not experienced, what is there? Sakshi. When my Chidabhasa is active, my Sakshi nature is not dominant. For example, now all of us are listening to this talk. Nobody says I am Sakshi. We all think that we are a listener. The listener is Chidabhasa with the mind. So the jiva is what? Mind plus chidabhasa. If there is a gap between the two thoughts, who sees that gap? It is the sakshi. In that gap, there is no specific experience, but we know that there is something in this body-mind complex which is watching that gap. Okay? Now, let us come to the chit experience. In deep sleep state, wakers or dream thoughts are resolved. You see, in the waking state, we have thoughts. In the dream also, we have thoughts. What happens in the sleep state? The thoughts are resolved. There are no thoughts in deep sleep state. So the Visesha Chaitanyam is resolved. Visesha Chaitanyam means all specific sounds which I hear. For example, the class which we are hearing now, this class is not there in my deep sleep state. The smell of the fragrance of jasmine in my room, it is not there in the sleep state. That is what is called as Visesha Chaitanyam is gone. But what is there in that state? Samanya Chaitanya, the general awareness. And that general awareness is eternal. It continues. There is no stop. There is no start and stop for the general awareness. Visesha Chaitanyam, the mind's experiences have a beginning and an end. A simple routine is waking state, sleep state. In the sleep state, there is no knowledge of the Visesha. What we are experiencing in the sleep state is Samanya Chaitanya. The silence, blankness is absence of everything other than sakshi. See, this is how Advaita Vedanta refutes the other philosophers who says there is nothing in sleep. So Sushupti is not blankness or absence of everything, but it is a presence of sakshi which is revealing the absence of everything. See how subtle this topic is. When the thoughts are resolved, when the world of perceptions are resolved, based on our experience, I should be able to differentiate the twofold personality in me, in this body mind. There is one personality which is experiencing the Jagrat world. There is another personality which is experiencing the dream world. And in both this, Chid Abhasa is the predominant factor. In Sushupti alone, Sakshi becomes predominant. We have experienced Sakshi, Pradana, Aham in Sushupti. Every day we experience this. But that is what we are not aware of. What Veda comes and says is, that is your real nature. It is your intrinsic nature. Hold on to that intrinsic nature. Even though you may say it is blankness, hold on to that. Even though you may say it's an absence of the world, hold on to that. As your mind becomes deeper and deeper, becomes more purified, this thought of blankness gradually becomes the sakshi. And then you will say, I know Vedanta very well. And whatever Veda says, I accept it. And that is what is called as Jivan Mukti status. See, the whole spiritual study is not so difficult. If you go step by step, gradually learn the Veda. And that is the beauty of Swami Vidyaranya. See how beautifully he presents the whole, in 76 verses, he presents the whole Vedanta. Very beautiful chapter. All of you should study this chapter in sometime in future. I've given you this, just if you read the verses, 90% of what the verses are going to teach, you will know. Because I have given you the formula to open up those verses. I've given you the power, the Shakti to open up those verses for you. Because it is those verses only, they reveal the actual truth. And then I have to own up that truth. See, the job of revelation of sakshi is done by the Upanishadic words. They are the pramanam. They are the source. What is the meaning of anvaya and vyatireka? This is a methodology followed by Veda. Anvaya means it is a constant factor. It never goes away. Invariable factor. Invariable factor in all of us is this sakshi. It is intrinsic. It never has any end. Before the birth also, I was sakshi. After the body leaves also, I am sakshi. When the body is not experienced in sleep, I am sakshi. When the body is experienced in the waking state, I am sakshi. This is the fundamental truth revealed in Mandukya Upanishad. And of course, all the Upanishads reveal the same thing, but Mandukya is very special. Vyatireka means Chidabhasa. What is the variable factor? I've talked about the invariable factor. What is the variable factor? The variable factor is the Chidabhasa. Chidabhasa means what? It is an incidental thing. I am experiencing my waking state. But we think the waking state is the ultimate. That is the problem. See, now you understand through all this study of 15 chapters of this Panchadasi, one thing you will now be very clear is there is that Atma in me, and I think I know that Atma. I'm sure all of you will be saying that in the heart of your hearts. After this study of 2 years of Panchadasi, this much I'm sure all of you have grasped it. And this is a very great achievement. It's not a small achievement. Very great, because this is, you're talking about janmas. You're talking about something which is so unique and it's so precious. You're talking about your divine self, reaching your your divinity. You're not talking about the individuality, you're talking about the divinity. Individuality is all the small things which you get attached to in your normal waking state, and say, okay, I'm rich, I'm poor, I'm old, I'm young, I'm sick, I'm happy, unhappy. All that is not the real self. They are chidabhasa, incidental. Shankaracharya bangs you in every Upanishad, whether it is Prashna Upanishad, whether it is Mandukya Upanishad, Keno Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, all of them they say, search for that Brahman or Turiyam or that Atma, which is Nityaha. There is only one Nitya, eternal Vastu in this universe, which is the spiritual light of 17 to 26. An important topic, because generally we say, I want to experience that Atma. But the problem is, you cannot experience it, you can only claim it. Why is this? Because it happens to be yourself. In order to experience anything, remember this fact. What is the fact? Every experience involves the mind. Anytime the mind is involved, it is called as adhyasa. It is called as two types of adhyasas. What is the first one? Jnana adhyasa. I have not put in the slide, but I am explaining to you the essence of Vichara Sagara. The essence of the whole text of Vichara Sagara, which has got 530 topics. It takes 10 years to learn Vichara Sagara. 10 years to learn one text. And the essence there is what? There are two adhyasas. There are two superimpositions which is on sakshi. Number one, jnana adhyasa. How does jnana adhyasa happen? Whenever my mind is awake or semi-awake or in sleep, the mind is, whatever the mind does, it is superimposed on Adi. Number one, the first adhyasa. Second adhyasa is what? Whatever I see, I take it as me. For example, the body is seen in the waking state. I say, I am the body. This is called as artha adhyasa. Artha adhyasa happens in two ways, aham and mama. Aham is when the body is seen, aham. When the mind is known, aham. What is mamakara adhyasa? Whatever belongs to the body, you say it is I. It is aham. Try to understand. This is a very easy thing to understand, but follow the logic. Follow this, and you will remember. You will easily understand. I am the sakshi. Very easy. Vedanta is not difficult. Very easy. But step by step, you have to understand. This chapter is amazing. It will teach you. So if I drop those two adhyasas, which are called as jnana adhyasa and artha adhyasa, then what happens? Whatever is left behind is the sakshi. It is the consciousness. So there is no pure sakshi experience at any time. So don't try to say in meditation, I'm going to have that pure experience of that. It is only a samadhi state of the mind. It is not the experience of heart. At the same time, all of us, we know that we are the Atma because that is our nature. Sakshi Anubhava, nobody lacks. Sakshi Anubhava is what? Claiming I am the Sakshi. Not saying I experience like an object, I experience outside, like an apple, like a mobile, I experience, or a phone, I experience, but that is not like that. Atma is not like that. It is, I am that Chaitanya. That way you can know. And that is what is called as knowledge. The 27 to 68 is the main theme of the 8th chapter. It is an inquiry of this Chidabhasa, how to separate this Chidabhasa through two methods. What are the two methods? One is called as Abhasavada. Okay, Abhasavada is same as Pratibhimbavada. Abhasa means reflection. Pratibimba is also the same. So one is called as Abhasavada. The second is called as Avachedavada. Avachedavada, these are two vadas, two theories to reach what? To understand what? The Chid Abhasa, the reflection of that consciousness. To understand that, I use like, it is like a reflection of your face in the mirror. The whole Jagrat Avastha is a reflection, whole, completely. If the whole Jagrata Avastha is a reflection, what is the original? Original is the sakshi. Another methodology which is used in Mandukya also, primarily in Mandukya and also in Vichara Sagara, it comes up. Avachedavada. Avachedavada means enclosure in this body is the consciousness. Like the space. Space is enclosed in the upadhi of the hall. Space is enclosed in the pot, upadhi of the pot. Similarly, body and mind is the upadhi, the medium, the conditioning in which the consciousness becomes manifest. So these methods are used by Advaita Acharyas to define Jiva and Ishvara. Actually speaking, Jiva and Ishvara are the same. Because once I realize I am the consciousness, there is no distinction between one reflection and another reflection. So, Abhasavada and Avachedavada, they teach us how I can understand the reflection of consciousness. There are 5 topics in this important section. First one is the necessity of accepting Chidabhasa. For explaining who is the Jiva, who is the Ishvara. Who is the Jiva? That Chidabhasa in the body and the mind in the individual Vyashti is called as Jiva. That reflection in the whole universe, the totality, is called as Ishvara. But the original is what? Spiritual light is the same. And what does Avachedavada? I'm specifically discussing these technical topics because this is the only way you will understand consciousness. So there is one all-pervading consciousness which is always there. It is eternal. Eternal means what? It is its nature. There is no requirement of Chidabhasa and all for its existence. And it is experienced as a Jiva when the mind wakes up. It is experienced as the Ishvara when the mind wakes up and you see the world. But the unenclosed portion is called as Ishvara. Enclosed in the body mind is called as the Jiva. These are all ways to explain the reflected consciousness which we experience. The enclosed consciousness is not enough to explain the Jiva. What is really required is to know the original consciousness, which is neither enclosed in the universe, outside, neither inside. It is beyond both the enclosures. The definition of Chidabhasa is any abhasa is an image of something. And it resembles the original. So a Xerox copy is an abhasa. It is a photo of the original. For example, Vedantic statues, they resemble the original person. A statue is not original. It is a abhasa. It is different, but it resembles. So similarly, consciousness in our mind is a reflection. But it is different. It is not the original. Original and different. This is where you should make the difference between consciousness in the body, mind, and original consciousness. Okay, see how deep this text is. It defines the Chidabhasa. You can go through these sites. I'm not going to explain each and everything. But for example, the entry of sun in the water. and the sun in the mirror. Suppose you keep a mirror outside. The entry of that is called as Chidabhasa. But it is different than the original sun. Similarly, consciousness, it is when it is reflected in this body-mind complex, you should understand it is different than the original. The birth and death belongs to the reflected consciousness, which is temporarily there in the mind and the body. So what in Vedantic Upanishad, this is the teaching. What is the teaching? The original consciousness does not rise or set. The original consciousness is eternal. It is always there. Yajnavalkya is the guru, and he teaches in Vedantic Upanishad the definition of reflected consciousness, which is the jiva. In Abhasavada, Mahavakya should not be taken as the Jivatma, Paramatma Aikyam, but it is taken as Jiva Badaha, which means reflected consciousness negated, and original consciousness is retained. I will explain to you what it means. You see, in the Mahavakya, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, what you have to do in your mind is negate cognitively the reflection. That means in our mind we say, I am not what the Jagrat Avastha in the waking state, the body and mind, I am the consciousness. Which is why I have come to learn. This is exactly why I have come to learn the Veda and the Panchadasi. And the reflection goes away in the sleep state. You see, in both this Jagrat and Swapna, the reflection comes in. In the sleep state, the reflection goes away. But in all these three states, the invariable factor is Chaitanyam. Okay? So, Abhasa is Mithya. Mithya means what? It appears, disappears. That's all. Jiva Jagat Ishvara, either at the macro level or at the micro level, is an Abhasa. At the macro level, it is Prapancha Abhasa. Chidabhasa at the Prapancha, total level. At the micro level, it is the Sharira Chidabhasa. See, this chapter is a technical chapter. All of you who are interested in the technicalities of Advaita, I suggest you can go through this chapter. Out of all the other chapters which I've introduced so far, this particular chapter has got technically how to understand who am I. Because it brings out the concept of the reflection theory very beautifully. Even if you go through these notes, which I'm now presenting, go through them again in your spare time, you will get a glimpse of the truth in your own mind. Because ultimately, the teaching is only revealing something. It is revealing something, but that what is being revealed, only you can know. I will not know whether revelation has happened in your mind, but you will know it because it is experienceable realization. It is called as a self-realization. So many Upanishads says, in sleep alone, I am in my original nature, which is sakshi swarupa. The Swayam Jyoti Brahmana, Sharirika Brahmanam, there are two chapters in Vedantic Upanishad which are very, very important chapters. Whenever you study Vedantica, it's the biggest Upanishad. Two Upanishads are the biggest. Number one, Vedantica. Number two, Chandogya. But what you should learn is take out the important aspects. Those notes are available in the website. I have taken Vedantic Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, important sections. If you understand those important sections, that is enough. Then Vedanta is understood. And in those portions, it is clearly said, I am in my Sushupti nature, I am my own self, which is Sakshi Chaitanya. The last portion is conclusion. The purpose of Upanishadic study is to understand the Jiva, Ishvara is not the reality, it is Mithya. It is only an intermediary step, but the goal is Atma Swarupa. And I have to cognitively only understand. That is why knowledge is important. That is why we study. That is why this vichara is important. Paramarthika Satyam is the reality, which is Aham, the Chaitanyam. And what is Mithya? Which is like a float in the cloud, like the cloud is floating in the sky. Waking, dream, and sleep are like the clouds. They come and go. Who am I? I am the space in which the clouds are appearing and disappearing. I am the consciousness in which the three avasthas are coming and going, in which the five koshas are coming and going, in which the three bodies are coming and going. See how beautiful this chapter is. Very good. Ishvara, don't give reality to the world, give reality to yourself, which is the awareness principle. And that is the conclusion of this chapter. Very beautiful chapter. Let things happen in the Vyavaharika world. And there is one verse called in the 75th verse. It's a very important verse. You can refer to that. And you can see generally acharyas, the teachers, they say you by heart that particular verse. It is very similar to the 32nd verse of chapter 2 of Mandukya Upanishad. What it says is, paramarthically, at the higher level, there is no Jiva Jagat Ishvara. Jiva Jagat Ishvara is at the Vyavaharika level. Knowing this truth is moksha. Okay, so that ends this chapter. Chapter 9, Dhyana Deepa Prakaranam. I will just introduce it today. And then next week I will take this. We have this chapter 9, and then there is chapter 11 to 15. I need to explain to you both this. This is chapter 11 to 15. And I will give you the summary. There are 2 more sessions left. Now, next week, I will do this chapter, this particular chapter 9. And the following week, I will take 11 to 15. And that is the end of Panchadasi. In the last, that is, the next session is on the 6th of December, and the last session for Panchadasi is on 13th of December. I will try to give as much details as possible for these 2 sections. And in the last session, I will probably not have a meditation session on that day. On the Wednesday, I won't have a meditation on the 13th of December. I will, instead of actual meditation, I will take a topic which I promised to take up to all those meditation students, which is, what are the impurities which are there in my mind? I want to discuss that in a brief way, not very big discussion. But I'll try to discuss that on the last day, which is 13th of December. Why I am not able to meditate? Some people, they run away after the class. They say, I can't meditate. But what is the reason? You should understand why I'm not able to meditate, sit down and meditate, even for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Why? I will explain to you on 13th of December. Okay, the next 5-10 minutes, I will try to, not even 10 minutes, I will give you a rundown of this 158 verses of chapter 9. Now, chapter 9 is called as Jnana Deepa Prakarana. 158 verses are there, broken up into 7 topics. See, I've given you a beautiful summary just before this. It's a very, very nice way to learn. You can rehear this talk again and again. Similarly, try to understand this 9th chapter, and then next week you will finish these details. And the 11 to 15 also, there'll be only one session. 11 to 15 is clubbed as one summary. So 7 topics, 2 types of wrong ideas I have. One is a real wrong idea, another is a fake wrong idea. See, this is a presentation skill of Vidyaranya. Right idea only comes because of vichara, means thinking, right thinking. Upasana is recommended for a student. And what type of a student, I will tell you later. In that, when we go to the content of that, you will appreciate that. This is a slightly tricky chapter. And how one can get liberated. At the end, it is mentioned. And I think it's better that I go through these details, then only you will get to know. Like I said, this is a slightly tricky chapter. You see, a right idea and a wrong idea. And he says the idea itself is really wrong, another is fake. It's a fake wrong. Okay, so we'll discuss this next week. And then then I will be able to take the chapter 11 to 15. Okay? All right. So I will stop here for today, and we'll start the 9th chapter next week. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudacchade Purnasya Purnamathaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. There are no messages in the chat box. In case any of you would like to ask a question, you are free to ask any questions by unmuting yourself.
Mr. Shekhar.
Yeah, Jacqueline.
How do you explain when you do meditation and it's supposed to sit still, the energy involuntarily move the body?
Yeah, that is okay. Let that happen. It doesn't matter. As long as you say, I am the consciousness, that energy is also an object of consciousness. See, nature is the 5 elements. the 5 elements are in constant motion. Nature is in constant motion. So in meditation also, there will be some movement of the body. You don't be, okay, fine, some body is moving, the breath is moving. You don't, it is an object of consciousness. You say, I am the consciousness. I am the awareness. When you repeat this 10 times during your meditation sessions, all the objects will drop off. What will remain is that pure consciousness alone will remain. And that is your real self. And that is what is the whole teaching, is knowing that self as you, which has no birth, no death. It is always there. How can you give me some way I can realize that self? In the waking state, ask the question, who was I in my sleep state? Whatever is my nature in the sleep state is the same in my waking also. It is not this body. It is not the mind with thoughts. It is pure awareness without this. In that awareness, only the body is coming in the waking state. I experience so many things in the world. The world experience I don't negate. I let that experience continue. But I have the knowledge, I am the awareness principle. All great authors which you see in the divine quotes every day which you put in, they are only talking of this consciousness. All the divine quotes, you are bringing out every day so many divine quotes. It's a fantastic achievement. For 3-4 years you have done it now. You've got so many of these quotes. As you learn the Vedanta, you will find I can understand those quotes much better today than I did 3 years ago. It would have gone, these meanings of those quotes will go very deep in your understanding, because again and again you have known and accepted that that is my nature. It's a it's a very subtle growth which happens in the subconscious mind. Thank you, Jacqueline.
Yes, I have one question.
Go ahead.
During meditation, it's supposed to be breathing, what I'm saying that in the normal circumstances, the whole body is in stillness, and listening to you, and breathing out, breathing in by listening to you, and the body is in stillness. The question that I'm asking, if the body is not in stillness, is in a motion, which is not that I want it to move, how do you explain that?
Okay. See, the body is a breathing instrument. It is an involuntarily it does it. Breathing is not a voluntarily willful activity. So in the meditation, if you have closed your eyes and you see that the body is moving, it is moving. It doesn't matter. If it moves, don't give any consideration to it. Let it move. Okay. If it moves by itself, let it not distract you. But your focus should be, I am motionless. What is that I? Awareness. I am motionless like the mountain. You should bring that thought in your mind. The moment you bring that thought, that motion will disappear from your mind. You will not focus on the motion part of it. If it happens also, don't worry. Let it. If the body is swinging in meditation, doesn't matter. Let it swing. But you have closed your eyes. You're not seeing the body.
Yeah, I thought there must be special. There must be some energy that is moving, that is swinging, you know.
No, no. It is, the energy is the pranic energy. You see, it is the prana, the breath. Breath is what is keeping that body alive. Even in sleep state, when the mind is sleeping, what keeps your body alive? It is the prana. It is the breath. The mind has dissolved in the prana. And prana is the one which is keeping the body alive for all of us. It is one single force, which is called as Hiranyagarbha. It is called as the total subtle body, which concept prana is one of the components of that subtle body, and that is the energy. That is the energy which keeps the body alive. All your digestive organs are functioning. Your lungs are functioning. Your circulation is going on in the body. All are governed by prana. It is one prana shakti which gets divided into 5 locations in your body. Right from the rectum, up to the forehead, up to we do all this chakra meditations. All that is pranic meditation. It is only that prana which is the energy which is there, but don't focus on that energy.
Okay.
Good. Jacqueline, it's a good, but you have to stop focusing. Maybe you have been focusing on the energy part in the chakra meditation, which Atulji teaches us. So your mind has got used to focusing on the energy part. In Vedantic meditation, we drop that. We focus on the awareness, consciousness principle. This is different than the energy focusing meditation of chakra meditation.
Okay, appreciate.
Thank you. Anybody else has a question? Are the 5 elements also a thought? Good question. See, the 5 elements, there are gross elements and there are subtle elements. Thoughts are made of subtle element. Our body is made up of gross element. If you have done Tattvabodha, there is a process called as Panchikaranam. When the subtle becomes gross. So our thoughts are matter. They are not the spirit. They are not the consciousness. They reflect consciousness. So thought, your question is thought part of 5 elements? 100% it is part of 5 elements. But it is subtle. It is subtle. It is, this is how Veda explains it. What is the meaning of subtle? Meaning of subtle is, in Sanskrit we say Indriya Agocharam. Indriya Agocharam means my sense organs cannot perceive the thought. My sense organs can perceive the sound. It can perceive the form and the color. It can perceive the touch. It can perceive the smell. These are all which it can perceive. It cannot perceive thoughts. But who perceives and what perceives the thoughts in my mind? It is the consciousness principle. It is any thought is sakshi pratyaksha. That means it is aware by consciousness. my emotions. It is a subtle, it is emotions also is subtle matter only. It is a thought in a very subtle form. Anger, love, jealousy. There are positive emotions and negative emotions. All of them are aware by what? It is aware by consciousness. The gross body is also aware by consciousness. But in what way is the gross body seen? My eyes are seeing it. So the sense organs are perceiving the body. Sense organs cannot perceive the thoughts. This is how it is. Good question. Anybody else has any other question? Anybody wants to comment on today's meditation? Did you find it easy? Did you find it difficult to do this meditation?
Secondly, while we meditate, we have some kind of energy, strong energy, feeling like giddiness or what? What does it mean?
Oh, you mean you feel giddiness in meditation? If you feel giddiness and all that, you should do it. That is because of blood pressure problem. It has got nothing to do with anything else. It is just it's normal. It's because of the pressure of blood in your body. That giddiness, if it comes, you should stop meditation. Just open your eyes and then you just relax. That's all.
Okay.
Okay, Anna says she enjoyed today's meditation. Yeah, verse 500 captures the essence of meditation. Very good. Anyway, I'm very glad that you enjoyed today's meditation, but practice it. This is one of the best meditations of all the meditations I have conducted so far. This is one of the best. Today's meditation is one of the best. But you will get more and more benefit out of it when you practice it. It is a challenge to let go of the known, but worth it. Yeah, sure, of course. It is a challenge, no doubt, but it's okay. It will come. By practice, this can happen. See, our memories are very strong. So memories always bring back thoughts of the known world. It is very difficult to control that is what we call it as vasana. We call it as impressions in the mind. But the moment you are able to objectify it, very good. That means you are able to see it. You're seeing those impressions in your mind. All you need to do in meditation is just say, I am the seer. That's all. I am the knower of those thoughts, those impressions. And then you'll grow. Okay, so I will stop here. We'll have another 2 sessions continue, and then we'll see next week how we can take up the next chapter. We have 2 more sessions on the Panchadasi. Okay. Thank you and good night.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So we have next week, we have Tuesday and Wednesday classes, right?
No, only Wednesday. Wednesday evening, 6th December, we have a class, and then the 13th December is the last day. So 6 and 13.
Okay.
Okay, Saturday class is also there this next week and the following week.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.